Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Sunday, May 14th, and the moon is still in Pisces. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there, whether you actually have children or animals or friends. Everybody at one point or another has to mother something. So here we have these white lilacs that are planted right next to the house. There's a story about these lilacs, and it's a Mother's Day story, so I'm going to tell it to you, and then we'll move on. Many years ago, I found the woman that used to live in this house and lived here for 50 years with her husband, and in fact, I think both her husband and herself actually passed in the house. And when we first came to the house and looked at it when we were looking to buy, as soon as we walked in the house, we felt like we had been hugged. And come to understand that the woman that used to live here, his name was Gert, and she was somebody that all the neighborhood kids called Grandma Gert. And I found out that she used to have big white lilac bush right here where this lilac bush is, but one of the people who had bought the house after her family sold it was pulled it out because thought it shouldn't have the bush so close to the house. And she used to hang eggs at Easter time. She'd hang eggs from the tree, and I don't know, maybe she had candy in them or something like that, but it was like a thing. So when we found out about it, we decided to plant some white lilacs. So we planted this, and then we planted the ones that are behind the car there that are just about finished blooming, actually, in honor of Grandma Gert. So we bought the bush on a Mother's Day, and we planted it, and these are Grandma Gert's bushes. So, and so when you walk out, first thing here, you get a nose full of lilacs, and I can't really think of a better way to start the day. So let's get on with the astrology and see what's coming up in the garden. Those bushes back there with those little roundy things on top, those are the peonies. Peonies are coming up. The oak leaf hydrangea is leafing out. Let's come around the property here. The sun is coming up. It's pretty early. That's why it's kind of quiet, at least for the moment, on Main Street. And as we approach this part of the yard, we see this white flowered bush here. This is called what is this called? A wedding? I think they call it a wedding bush or something like that, because it blooms right around the time that people like to get married. I remember, we had this down when I lived down actually on the Cape, about 15 minutes from here. And this thing wouldn't bloom until June, so it's blooming early, but it is very lovely. Bridal bush, that's what it's called. I knew I'd remember. Bridal bush. Hello. That's the, I think there must be a nest of cardinals here, because every time I come over here, they're clicking. But of course, I would never hurt anybody. And here's some lilacs. Lilacs. Look how beautiful. Just, I don't know, can you see them? There's a lot of them up there. It's a little hard to see with the lighting. There they are. Yeah, so beautiful morning here. So the moon is in Pisces. So we continue that sort of otherworldly energy. We had some nice support yesterday, and we continue with some nice support. The moon makes a, let me see, I wrote it down here, a lovely sextile to the sun. This is part of the lunation cycle that began with that new moon in Aries back on, what was that, what day was that? The 22nd? The 21st. We had a new moon in Aries right at that first degree oh no, actually, sorry. Let me say that is incorrect. This goes back to the new moon at 29:30 degrees of Aries. Thank you very much, brain of mine, for kicking in at the right time, um, which was an eclipse. And then we had the full moon, lunar eclipse, right? That happened in Scorpio. That was part of this lunation cycle. So this lunation cycle has been a doozy because it was in, part of it was in the lunation cycle of the eclipse. So we still have that eclipsy energy today. And the sextile, this is called a waning sextile in astrology, is a time for us to come to an understanding. We learn from each other, and we learn how to move in a more progressive direction. And progressives, they bandy that word around like it's a dirty word. But progressive simply means future oriented for the benefit of the people, really. That's why the people empowered don't like the word progressive, because it takes some of their power away and gives it to the people. And of course, we're all for people power, aren't we not, on this channel? So, so we have that. So that's really nice. And the sun being in Taurus and the moon being in Pisces brings that sort of divine energy to a generally just a practical sign. We also have the moon make a trine to Mars today in Pisces, and we're going to get a little flavor because this week we have Mars trine Neptune. In fact, the moon makes a trine to Mars. Mars in Cancer, moon in Pisces, very watery, very empathetic, very sympathetic, very flowy. It can be a flow of emotions. It could be an opportunity for healing. Or you can trip the light fantastic today. It's kind of that kind of day, although there is enough Taurus to keep us grounded through that. And then the moon conjoins Neptune shortly after it trines Mars, because in 2 days, I think on Tuesday it is, that Mars will trine Neptune. And that, of course, is a more intense energy because we have Neptune, the planet of mass consciousness, lining up with Mars, all in water signs. So we can expect a big wave of some sort. We get a little taste of that today as the moon does trines Mars. And of course, Neptune is in orb of that trine. It's not exact until Tuesday, but we're feeling that energy of flow. We're feeling that energy of healing. And I know the E. Jean Carroll decision went a long way to heal a lot of people. So it is out there, and it is happening. We also have Mercury go direct today. Mercury has been retrograde since the 21st of April. Now that was at the time when we had that new moon at 1 degree of Aries. So this Mercury retrograde, while the moon sun aspect sort of wrangles in the energy of this last lunation cycle, the Mercury retrograde actually wrangles in the last 2 lunation cycles. So including that one that was at 1 degree of Aries, and that was also a very powerful time. So we have been sort of storing up power with that retrograde Mercury in Taurus, and now it is going to start to move forward. At first imperceptibly, and then I think we're going to really feel the rush. And of course, we have probably one of the most energetically intense and transformational weeks that we're going to have ahead of us. So we're going to need the energy that Mercury has stored up for us, so to speak. The Mercury retrograde goes direct here on the east coast of the U.S., so direct for the United States. If we go by the Washington, D.C. chart, at 11:11 p.m. You can't make up this stuff. You just can't. So that's what's going on. And we have a chilly-ish morning here. It's about 55, I think it said. Well, let me look. I can look. I haven't looked, but we had a very warm day yesterday, and then the temperature kind of went down pretty quickly, and I think it was probably around 50, although they were talking about it going lower. Luckily, I don't think it did, but plants don't seem to mind, do they? Oh, yes, I was going to look at the temp. What does it say? Actually, the temperature here is about 45. It doesn't feel that cold, though. I'm walking around in my jams here with just a little sweater on. But it feels invigorating. It's invigorating. All right, guys. Ooh, look at the Seal of Solomon. That's coming up pretty nice, too. And then this little branch here that comes up the office, that is trumpet vine. But I have yet to see any kind of flower on that. It has yet to flower since it's been there. But that's what's going on, guys. And another mystical, magical day. We'll get a few glimpses of what the week's going to look like, I think. But we got to get ready. We got to get ready. The moon does move into Aries relatively early tomorrow, so we start Monday off ready, set, go. Or as Rick Levine says, fire, ready, fire, aim. Oh boy, Aries. So, yeah, things are happening, guys, and we'll be together. And this week I go to Ireland, so we start our journey. Hopefully I can share my experiences there. I'm sure I can. I just have to find out if I have to do anything special. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and enjoy the world around you. It's the best way to spend your time. Take care, everyone. Namaste.